This is Gene Montrose telling welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 519, originally aired October 13th, 2021. Hi everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today we're going to talk about and do a little tapping on this concept of toxic kindness, what that means and how we engage with that. Before we do that, two quick announcements. Number one, remember we have a free 10-part guide on how you can use tapping to eliminate self-sabotage. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com, click on the big blue button. If you happen to be in the website right now in the upper right-hand corner at the top of that column, you will see the way that you can sign up for that absolutely free. Every single day, we will send you a tool over the course of the next 10 days, so it makes it easier for you to take action. Then at the end of the 10 days, you can choose the one that works the most effectively for you and do it over and over again. Secondly, I would like to send a big shout out to all of the supporters of the Tapping Q&A podcast. These are people who voluntarily support the show so you can have amazing tap-alongs like this. And in addition to feeling really good because they're helping out, they also get bonuses and free gifts along the way. Some of them announced, some of them unannounced. We have some really fun ones sneaking into their inbox very, very soon. If you'd like to be a supporter of the show, all you need to do is go to tappingqa.com/support. And once again, thank you to all of the amazing supporters of the Tapping Q&A podcast. Over the course of the last number of weeks, there has been in my timeline on Instagram a number of people talking about the concept of toxic kindness. And those are odd words to be putting together. We're having lots and lots of conversations right now about toxic relationships and toxic masculinity. And when we take a certain characteristic and it goes so far, it becomes harmful to the person doing it and the people they're interacting with. And toxic kindness is an interesting kind of buzzy way to talk about something. I'm not exactly sure I completely buy into the concept as it's defined, but I do think it's something that we do have a conversation about. And most of the time, what people are talking about when they refer to toxic kindness is they are referring to people who think they are doing something good and kind that is actually making it harder for us. So, for example, if we're having a really hard day, someone turning us to going, "Oh, it'll work out okay, don't worry about it." Their intention is to be encouraging. Their intention is to help us to navigate a difficult world by giving us some hope. The problem is, if I'm having a really craptastic day and you say, "Hey, everything's going to be great," it can feel like you are dismissing my emotional experience and you're telling me that I shouldn't feel the way that I should and I just need to get over it. Thus, toxic kindness in a way that is hurtful. And for me, all of this falls into the category of something you've heard me talk about before, which I call kind-hearted incompetence, where people think like they're being useful and they're not actually doing so. Because when we're having a really hard time, it's important that we're honest with our experience. It's important that we allow ourselves to feel bad. It's okay to be in a situation where we have to process through what is going on. No one in the history of the world who has been experiencing grief of a loved one has suddenly felt better because someone has turned to them and said, "Oh, they're in a better place now." The instinct of saying that to someone is, see the big picture. It's okay. They're no longer physically suffering. And sometimes we can take that in. But when I'm sad, I'm sad. And so I need to have permission to be in that particular place. And so today, what I would like to do is I'd like to do a little tapping around when we are in a circumstance that is hard and the people around us are trying to be encouraging and they are being anything but. So tap on the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath, and just move from point to point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact that when I have a hard time, it's a hard time. I can be in the midst of painful emotions. I can be overcome by my experience. I can be confused as to what I should be doing next. And as that happens, there are people in my life who want to be helpful. There are people in my life who want to cheer me up. There are people in my life who want better for me. And sometimes when they try to be encouraging, they are anything but encouraging. Sometimes when they are trying to be helpful, they're not actually being helpful. What they are doing instead is it feels as if they are invalidating my experience. It feels as if they are saying what I am feeling is wrong. And even if they are well-meaning, it still hurts. It still feels bad. And I give myself permission to know that I'm allowed to feel what I'm feeling. That I don't have to feel undermined by others. I don't have to feel like they are telling me that I am wrong. For feeling what I'm feeling. They're trying to be helpful. They think they are being helpful. I can listen to their intention without having to listen to their words. It is possible for me to navigate this in such a way where I can heal at my own pace, without feeling undermined by others. Nice big deep breath. One of the things that I always find helpful when I'm struggling with something like this is to try, if I can, to separate someone's intentions from their actions. Now, if someone continues to do the same thing over and over again, even after we've tried to correct them, then that is a completely different thing. But in a one-off scenario, it's important to recognize what is going on. And so to give ourselves permission to continue feeling the way that we're feeling, regardless of what the people are saying around us. And sometimes, after I tap on something like this, I sometimes, not always, but I sometimes have the confidence to be able to turn to those people and go, I appreciate what you're saying, but actually the way that you can support me right now is to just hear me out as I'm stuck in this thing and not try and talk me out of it. One of the things that I have learned to do as a listener is that when someone is having a hard time and they're explaining what is going on, that my response is, yeah, that really sucks. And then just stopping and just listening and giving them permission to keep talking. And again, when they're sharing things that are hard, just go, yeah, man, that really sucks. I'm sorry you're experiencing all of that. And then once we get to a natural pause, I'll go, great. Is there anything I can do for you? Because I want to make sure that I'm helping you in a way that is helpful. And so by framing it in that way, it makes it so much easier for us. And if we do that, we're modeling that to others as well, which will make it easier the next time that we're in struggle and we're in pain. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like I said, this is the phrase toxic kindness is something that is new to me, but the idea is something that we've been dealing with for a long time. And so I'd love to hear your experience with it. I'd love to hear how this tapping worked for you. If you know someone in your life who could appreciate a little tap along like this, please be our ambassadors. Pass it along. Don't spam your inbox. But you might know one or two people who could really use a little piece of encouragement and a little tapping like this today. And even if they don't hit play on the audio, just sending them a note saying, hey, I know you're having a hard time, and I know that some of the people in your life might be running you over right now, but I'm thinking of you, and I just want you to be better, whatever better means. That will mean the world to them, even if they don't open the audio, even if they don't tap along. If you have questions, you have comments, I'd love to hear from you. I can always be reached at support@tappingqna.com. And even though there's support in the name of that particular email, I actually man that inbox. It just makes it easier for me to respond and not get things caught up with lots of other emails that come in. I dedicate time a couple of times a day to answer all those questions. Please, please, please let me know how I can be helpful. Questions, comments, guests you'd like to have in the future, topics you'd like us to cover. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the podcast. As always, in podcasting parlance, subscribe is free. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible, basically everywhere online you find audio. Just search for Tapping Q&A, click subscribe, click follow. Most importantly, turn on those notifications so that when a new episode comes out, you know right away. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli and Tapping Q&A.